Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first live panel for World Model UN Day 2022. My name is Philippe. You may have just seen me at the opening ceremony with Bonyan and Mariam. And I'm very happy today to be accompanied with Ryan Wright, our events coordinator. We'll be running today's panel on our Interact Resolution launch, which will be for the entire duration of World Model UN Day 2022, and what we're going to be starting with today, which of course is our SDG Quiz. Ryan, over to you.
Yes, hello, I am Ryan, and welcome to the interactive panel for World Model UN Day this year. And just a small correction, the interactive resolution will be running from the end of this panel to the start of our first panel tomorrow. So it will not be running through the panels because we want to make sure that people are going to be engaged in those and not in our fun resolution, which means our resolution is going to be in more of a hyper format, but I'll get to that in a second. First of all, we're going to start with a quiz on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And let me go ahead and pull that up. All right, so we're doing it through Kahoot. You can see the game pen there, so you can just go to kahoot.it or use the QR code here.
You can also, I believe, copy and paste the link in the chat as well, if you click over the game pin. If you hover over the game pin, Ryan. Yep.
Oh, here?
No, to the left.
Oh, this pin? Yes. Oh.
I'll pop it in the chat.
All right, the link is now in the chat. All right, we'll give it a minute or two to fill up. You can also just watch the quiz and figure out the answers for yourself and jot them down. Though we will say the winner of the SDG quiz will get their name in the World MUN Day Hall of SDG Fame, and they will also be able to suggest 2 operative clauses. And I'll explain more about why that's a good prize at the end, but yeah, once we get to the interactive resolution portion of today's panel.
Okay, fantastic. Got quite a few people joined.
Yeah, looks like things are filling up.
Right, I believe there is a bit of a delay sometimes with what we see. So yeah, Brian, just take it slow when you go through the quiz, just because it takes a while. We don't get to.
Yeah, I added. Normally it's 20 seconds per question, but I've set it to 30 just to accommodate different internet speeds and making sure everyone has a chance to get through it. And some of our questions are very tricky. We worked on this with one of our event coordinators, Lu Jane, and she has written some very tricky SDG questions. She's definitely out to stump you on these. So
should we begin?
All right, yes, let's go ahead and start the quiz. All right, so our first question is, when were the SDGs formally adopted? Now, there are a couple, this is kind of a trick question in a way. I'd pay very close attention to how the question is worded, particularly the last word.
Also interesting to note, this does have a link to one of our speakers tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.
That's a bit of a hint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the answer there is 15. I see most of you got it right. To just kind of go over why it's a little tricky is that, so they were formally adopted in 2015, but our other answers, so 2012 was when they were originally written, and 2016 was when they were actually implemented. So just some SDG facts for you. All right, Marielle with our top score. Wow. All right, question 2. At what summit were the Sustainable Development Goals developed? The Rio +20 Summit, the COP26 Climate Summit, the COP18 Climate Summit, or the Rio +10 Summit?
Some people are still arguing it's 2016. I'm afraid the UNGA did adopt it in 2015.
Yes, it didn't go into effect until 2016.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Yeah, COP26 happened. What that was 2021, right?
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not the one making the quiz. Okay.
I'm just trying to think about current events. I just know that one was recent, so I put it on there. Oh, we have a new leader. Clyde has taken the lead. Wow. How many UN members have adopted the SDGs?
That is such a tough question, Ryan. Oh my god.
Oh, it is, and we've got some tough answers in there too.
God, brutal.
And there's some more facts to explain with some of the wrong answers here.
What? Oh.
193 UN members have adopted the SDGs. To kind of go through the other ones, 149 is the number of UN members who are tracked on the SDG indicators. And 189 is the number of UN members who had adopted the Millennium Development Goals. And then 192 was just to throw you off. And it seems to have worked.
I thought there was one country. Was it Syria? I thought Syria just like never adopted them or something. Or was that like they signed up recently?
They must have signed up recently because the current number is 193. And Clyde again keeping that streak going with 3 correct answers in a row. Impressive. And what are the 5 pillars of the SDGs? Now this one, you know, might be tricky, might not, you know, depending on. There's only one that seems to be out of place to make it extra difficult.
I love the alliteration. The UN just loves alliteration as much as they can.
They really do, yeah. It's going to be plants, promise, planet, or philanthropy. Oh, we got a good widespread on this one, but most of y'all are still getting them right. That's good to know. Wellington, wow, with the highest answer streak of 4, taking the lead. How many targets are there for the Sustainable Development Goals? 17, 170, 169, or 18?
Fact. I'll get my special pin out just for this. My SDG pin.
And the correct answer, of course, is 169. And these are the targets that we're trying to reach, things like zero hunger, zero poverty.
Dare you, Ryan? Oh my God, how dare you? Yeah, it's all of the sub points, isn't it? It's not like the main 17.
Yes. Yeah, it is not the main 17,
17 goals, right?
So there are 17 goals, but the targets are underneath the goals, and they're supposed to help us reach those goals.
I hate you, Ryan.
You know, it's very, very tricky wording there. Like I said, Lujane and I were really trying to stump y'all. And that's definitely going to throw off the scores there. Oh, so now no one has a streak. Oh, sorry about that.
You are evil.
You truly are. I would blame Lujane more than me. Actually, that's a lie. I wrote the alternatives for that one. Who is in charge for monitoring the achievement progress of the SDGs? This one also can be a little tricky. Is it the World Bank, the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, the UN Statistical Commission, or the Department of Economic and Social Affairs? And it is the UN Statistical Commission. And there was a little hint for you in the picture that we shown, just pointing out the bar graph, the stats, try and point you in the right direction. Wellington still keeping that lead. Clyde not far behind. How many indicators are there to track the progress of the SDGs?
Oh my God, Ryan, you are kidding us right now.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
can
this one, there's really... This is one of those either you know it or you don't sort of questions, because you're not getting any clues here. Don't worry, there's still some fun ones left.
Some.
Oh yeah, and still most people are getting them right. That's good to know. We've only had one major stump. Sophie Sakak has taken the leaderboard, getting into third.
By the way, if you just joined, you can still, for those who just joined, you can definitely still come in. You can see the game pin in the corner at the bottom right. So go to kahoot.it, pop in the game pin, and then keep going.
Or use the link in the chat as well. And which SDG receives the least attention? And this is according to a survey of countries and governments of where their priorities were. So this SDG ranked the lowest on world leaders' priorities. And that would be life below water, which is kind of a shame, but it just, there's definitely more work to be done there. Oh, and quality education is the highest priority for world leaders, by the way. Just another fun fact. 3 in a row, Wellington is back in the game. Yeah, getting that streak going again.
This is great promotion for your conference as well.
Yeah.
SDG Quiz. You get a line.
Ooh. So what is the major difference, or what is a major difference between the Millennium Development Goals and the Sustainable Development Goals? SDGs have a goal for global partnerships, while the MDGs do not. SDGs are universal, while the MDGs focus on developing countries. SDGs have triple the number of goals as the MDGs, or the SDG targets are set by countries and the MDG targets were set by the UN. And it is the SDGs are universal, while the MDGs focus on developing countries. That last one again, it's about the target. It's the wording here. It's the targets, not the goals, because the goal or the individual targets for the goals are set by the national governments. And Clyde, wow, must be faster than that Wellington. Oh, got to get it together. Which country has the highest rank for progress in achieving all of the 17 goals?
Of course, there's going to be something in Scandinavia or the Nordic countries.
Yeah, it was obviously one of those. But the question, which one?
That is true, yeah.
Yeah. The picture doesn't give much away, but it might have a hint or two in there.
Sorry, there's ice? There happens to be cold? Screw you, Ryan. That's not the same.
There's a one ice in Finland.
There's snow in all of them. They are all icy countries.
Well, I mean, Iceland has less ice.
Terrible, I tell you.
Yeah, Clyde keeping that lead. Caitlin's made the scoreboard now. Which 3 countries have made the most progress on their SDG index scores? So this isn't who has the highest. This is who has gone the furthest from where they started.
Oh my God.
So we have a grouping of Central American and Caribbean countries. We have a good mix over here with Kosovo, Liberia, Costa Rica. We have several African countries and Cambodia and Southeast Asia. And we have some more African countries with Sri Lanka. The correct answer was Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and Cambodia. Yeah, that's a tricky one too.
Because they're all of them are facing some. Yeah, there's some pretty difficult
similar
situations in the 2000s, so it makes sense.
Yes, yes, indeed. No, like that's why I threw Kosovo in there as well, because they've also been through quite a lot.
Yeah, of course. Only independence since the late 2000s. Yeah.
How is a person defined as living in poverty according to the first SDG of no poverty? Living on less than $1.90 per day, living on less than $2 per day, living on less than $3.20 per day, or living on less than $3 per day? And it is the first question, or first answer, living on less than $1.90 per day. By maintaining that lead, how much food is wasted in the world per second as indicated in Sustainable Development Goal 2 on Zero Hunger? Yeah, and this is a tricky one as well. There's some throw off numbers for sure in here.
Quite a depressing one, I think.
Oh, there might be more of those. Yeah, the correct answer was 41 tons. No, again, it seems like we're getting a decent spread on some of these, which is nice. But I'm happy to see that on almost all of them, we've had the majority with the correct answer.
Yeah.
Derek back on the leaderboard. Good to see. Now, true or false, according to SDG 3 on good health and well-being, obesity now kills 3 times more people than malnutrition.
I'm not sure what a tomato has to do with it, Ryan. I'm fairly sure tomatoes are pretty good against obesity.
Well, not when they're injected.
Not when they're being injected by a syringe with glowing green liquid. I'm
gonna assume sugar.
I'm not sure sugar glows green when it's in a syringe.
Well, maybe it's the colored Gatorade water. And that is true, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yep, still lots of work to do on that one. Oh, Wellington taking the lead. Wow. Interrupted no access to education jeopardizes SDG 4. How many children globally are forced to work? Man, Lujane really put in a lot of the hard-hitting questions here.
This is depressing, my God. Thanks, Lujane. You're making this World MUND really happy and sparkly. Then again, that's all we're here to do, inform.
Don't worry, we'll get to more of the fun stuff when the interactive resolution starts, but for now we have to.
She puts in the chat, "You're welcome." Oh, that is so depressing.
Oh, that really is. Wow. But again, the importance of doing quizzes like these is to help recognize where we're at on these SDGs and kind of highlight where there's still more work to be done. Now, this is a multi-select. There might be more than one correct answer. According to the SDG number 5, which of the following statements are true?
Knowing you, Ryan. Knowing you, I think I have my answer.
But did I write it or did Lujane?
I knowing both of you.
Oh, yeah, we have a very wide spread on this one.
Yeah, I was so sure you made it all of them. Knowing you both, I was so sure it'd be all 4 of them.
No, yeah, so men earn 20% more than women, and throughout the world, women work an average of 4 years more than men.
Huh. I wonder what that's related to.
According to SDG 6, how many people globally do not have access to clean and sanitary toilets? I think we think about clean water a lot for SDG 6, but I usually don't associate it with sanitation as much. So this was an interesting one to kind of learn about for this.
I imagine any goals or targets relating to antibacterial wipes or like gel has probably been matched very effectively.
Yeah, at this point, I'm sure, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
SDG
God.
3, oh, yeah, there's a tie here between 1 and 7. Yeah, that's a lot of people. That's 30%. According to SDG 7, how can waste be transformed on affordable and clean energy? And again, this is another multi-select. So there might be more than one correct answer. As we all know, landfills are excellent sources of transformed waste. But it seems like everyone got that one right for the most part. Composting, recycling, and methanization. Which of the following is not an aspect of decent work as defined in Sustainable Development Goal 8 on decent work and economic growth?
I hope you're not getting my WhatsApp tunes in the background.
Oh, that might be mine as well.
Apologies.
All right, and yes, that was social protection for families. That's the correct answer there. The scoreboard Wellington back at the top. Good to see. We have a nice little running pack in the top there. There's an SDG 9, which is not the purpose of integrating eco-design into any project. Now, to reduce its environmental impact, to reduce the company's profits, to optimize a project or product, or to enable savings to be made. What is the purpose of integrating eco-design? Or rather, what is not the purpose? Got to read that question carefully. Yeah, to reduce the company's profit is not the purpose of integrating eco-design. Clyde taking that lead again, just trading back and forth with Wellington.
To let you know as well, our comms team are looking forward to posting the winner on our social media too. So Wellington, if you get it, then you know that your conference is society.
According to SDG 10, women in urban areas are at the same risk of dying during childbirth as those living in rural areas.
God, this is so depressing.
Yeah. Again, this is, you can tell what's a Lu Jane question by how sad it makes you.
Jesus Christ. That's horrifying.
And it's 3 times less likely to die during childbirth than women in rural areas. SDG 11 indicates that if by 2030 nothing is done, how many people will be living in shanty towns? With an excellent picture of what a shanty town is. right there. So we got 76 million, 900 million, 1.2 billion, or 3 billion. It better not be 3 billion.
Ryan, eat your words.
I jinxed it. You know what? I bet the answer was 900 million, and then after I said 3 billion, it jinxed.
Uh-huh.
That's my bad. I'll take that on my shoulders, universe. But again, this just really emphasizes how much work really needs to get done here. Oof. And that's another one that was like a big stumper. Based on SDG 12, what proportion of the world's food is wasted or thrown away? 1/4, 1/3, 1/2, or 2/3?
A friend of mine works in I think their mother works in the supermarket industry, quite a high level, and does this stuff. So it's depressing.
But also, I think this one, more than the others, is one that people can have an active part as individuals, not as necessarily countries, in
Very true.
changing. We just need to make sure that we monitor our own individual food waste and do what we can. And it is 1/3 of all food produced is wasted or thrown away. So just, keep that in mind. We're getting close to the end here. Keep in mind you get more points the faster you answer. Global carbon dioxide emissions have increased by almost 14%, 26%, 50%, or 71%.
Again, continuing the depressive trend of this quiz.
Just check if I have any sort of power. I really hope it's not 14%. Wouldn't it just be awful if it was 14%?
Yeah, right.
It didn't work. It is, of course, 50%, and we're back to having majority rule, which is good. I mean, at least we're getting the questions right.
Ryan supports majority rule confirmed. Discards the opinion and voice of the minority.
That does tend to be how democracy works. Now, Clyde, back at the top there. According to SDG 14, Life Below Water, what percentage of marine species have been identified? Around 5%, around 10%, around 25%, or around 50%. Now, this is a fun one.
What do you mean identified? Like, people have seen them or like classified them or what?
I believe that is... Lojane might have more to say on this one.
Lojane, explain it in the chat. I mean, it's too late for this question, of course, but explain it to us. Discovered. But how... If you don't know the total of them, how do you know?
Well, I guess we can estimate the total based on biomass or something.
I don't know about weighing the planet. It's a bit hard to put the planet on a scale.
Yeah, but you can estimate. I've read papers on it. It's complicated.
I've read papers of 5% of the sea has been classified. I'm not sure that's marine people. Anyway, this does make the quiz more exciting, so fair enough.
Yeah. There may be errors. I don't take responsibility for everything on here.
I take
SDG 15, life on land of all known animal species. 3% are extinct and 12% are facing extinction. 8% are already extinct and 22% are facing. 13 are already and 28 are facing, or 20 are already and 18 are facing. Another kind of tricky, either you do or you don't know what's going on here. And it is 8 are already and 22 are facing. Which, it's better than the 13 and 28, but still not good. Oh, and this is really, changing our leaderboard. Wellington falling down to 5. Oof. Yeah, SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Which institutions are most affected by corruption? Now, this is a very interesting one, I think. Education and health, financial services, justice and the police, or
Well, it's
chemical
tough.
industries.
Is there a specific one which is like politicians?
Yeah. I don't know that. Well, I guess the chemical industries are kind of a silly one because are they an institution really?
I mean, have you met Bayer?
Yeah, I'm glad no one picked chemical institutions, and it is justice and the police. All right, Wellington climbing that leaderboard again. According to SDG 17, partnership and goals, development assistance means.
Is this our last question, by the way? Because I think the last.
This is our last question. After this, we will spend the remainder of the panel going over the interactive resolution and its guidelines, and then getting y'all started on that. So development assistance, what does it mean? This one should be an easy one. But who answers the quickest? And it is financial assistance from the richest to the poorest countries. A small typo there, should be a space. But we can't be perfect. Thank you for playing. Yeah, this was good. And hopefully you've learned something about the SDGs. And I apologize if the thing that you learned is that SDGs make you sad. We will definitely think about that. Oh, and Wellington got up to third at the last second.
And Clyde.
And Clyde is our winner.
Great.
Congratulations, Clyde.
Screen cap this quickly, and then we'll make sure Clyde. We'll get in touch later with your full name. Although if you put your full name in the chat, that'll make our lives a lot easier, because then we can just go straight from there. Awesome. Well, thank you all. Amazing. Thank you.
All right. Do you have it in the chat?
Yep,
okay, so now we are going to go over to the interactive resolution. Now, it's going to look a little bit daunting, but trust me, it'll make sense as I explain it. And I'm going to have some people in here helping me, like Lou Jane and Philippe.
Can you zoom in a little bit, please?
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
There we go. So welcome to the World Model UN Day Interactive Resolution. This first page on the document will be a set of guidelines and rules to help keep everything organized. We'll go through some examples as well. And then the following pages will be space for all of you to craft the resolution. Now, first of all, there are going to be no country assignments. As there is no voice communication, we would like to focus on sharing ideas and collaborating. And we would like to keep all communication on this document if possible. You'll have a little bit of time to talk on the tables on AirMeet after we close this panel. But once we close out the AirMeet, we would like everything to be done on here as much as we can. And then once you get the link, all participants will be in suggestion mode, which means you won't be able to make edits, but you can still write. It just won't be permanent. And then all suggestions will be made final by moderators once they meet certain criteria. So we'll have people like me going through and clicking on a suggestion like this, for example. We'll get down to it in order to make it work. And then so the criteria, each participant is going to be limited to suggesting a maximum of one preambulatory clause and one operative clause. And the reason we're limiting the clauses is because, as we said, we want this to be an interactive resolution. We don't want one person writing all 6 and then everyone changing, or, you know, a bunch of people writing 10 clauses and then we end up with a 100 or 300 page resolution. We don't want any of that. We want people working together. We want people negotiating, you know, saying, maybe if you second my clause, I'll help write, you know, a preamble for you, that sort of thing. And that kind of gets into our criteria on how to make your one operative and your one preambulatory permanent. And that criteria is each clause has to be seconded by another participant in order to be adopted. So moderators will be looking for seconds in the comments. And then any amendments. So if you have a change that you would like to make to a clause, each amendment will have to be seconded by another participant and the author of the original clause. So the author has to approve. We will not be allowing any unfriendly amendments for this edition. It might be something we look at for future editions, and we went through several options on how we could do it for this one, but we decided for the sake of our first attempt at this to simply limit to only friendly amendments. And so when you're adding your amendment or your change to a clause, try and word it in such a way that it can be helpful, that the author will see your point and agree and approve that change. Also, finally, at the end of every clause that you write, please add your first name and last initial in parentheses so that once things are finalized, we can attribute credit where it is due to whoever worked on each clause. And then at 13 CET on March 19th, which is tomorrow, when the first panel starts, all suggestions that have not been seconded and approved will be denied. They won't be gotten rid of. Everything will still be on here, but I will be copying and pasting everything that's permanent and moving it to another document so that we can have a formal final resolution. And so just to kind of go through an example of what that might look like, Lujane, if you want to get in suggestion mode and maybe write a suggestion of what a preambulatory clause could be. And we can fix the spelling and all of that later, I suppose. And that's something moderators will help with as well. Moderators will be helping with formatting, spelling, making sure everything looks nice, making sure that we have a very pristine document that we can present at the end. All right, yeah, that's a nice little short preambulatory clause. And there's a lot of room there. Perfect. Perfect. Recognize the importance of youth engagement in realizing the SDGs. So in order for this preambulatory clause to become finalized and added to the resolution, another participant, such as myself, might go and reply seconded, just like that. And now, once a moderator will come through and see, oh yes, that is correct, Lojane, also please add your first and last initial as well. So if people have similar names, we can distinguish. Here. I'll just put that in there for you. So once the preambulatory clause is in order and once the name has been added, the moderator will just come in and accept the suggestion like that. And now it is a formal part of the document. And then if you wanted to make a change, like so for example, Philippe, are you in the document?
Not myself, no. I can be though.
Okay, yeah, we might need you here to help with some of the, just so once we have the conversations going, we can have examples of the way the comments are going to stack. It might seem confusing, but trust me. Actually, no, it will be confusing and it will be messy, but it'll be fun and it'll be something that we can hopefully work with. So if I'm trying to make a change, if I want to make an amendment to this clause, like say, for example, recognize the importance of youth engagement for realizing SDGs. So say, for example, I wanted to make a change like the importance of youth engagement. Maybe I want to say, and involvement in youth organizations, such as Model United Nations. it will look something like this. So once I've done that, once I've made my change or addition, like my amendment, I will add my name at the end, just like this. And then now, so in order for my amendment to be adopted, I will need someone else, any, Philippe or Lujane, if you would like to help, to second my amendment. Thank you, Philippe, for seconding. And then now, Lujane, as the author, you will have to go through at the end after Philippe has seconded and reply saying approved. Perfect. And now that once the moderator has seen that, the moderator will come in and accept the suggestion and add that person's name to the end of the clause so the credit is given where it is due. And so now we have a great preambulatory clause that can help lead into our document. So I hope that makes some sense. If anyone has any questions, please put the questions in the AirMeet chat and we can talk through some of those.
A quick question just from someone else that's quite relevant though. They'll get the link in a moment, I'm guessing.
Yes. The link will be posted at the end. So
yeah. And then are we going to put the link anywhere else afterwards to make sure everyone has access to it?
Yes, we should also put it maybe on social media. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, we can add it to the Hey Summit as well, I think.
Oh, in the Hey Summit, yes. So the Hey Summit is a good idea because if anyone else is checking the recording, they'll be able to see it there. All right. So our topic for this resolution, for the resolution that you all will be writing, is how can the UN better support youth and MUN organizations? And if you paid attention to our opening ceremony, our speaker there had some great suggestions on how the UN is involved with youth and how the UN can do better with youth and MUN organizations. So if you haven't caught the opening ceremony yet, I would recommend you go do that. And then our committee, of course, is the United Nations Economic and Social Council, and all of your names will get added to the sponsors. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the signatories because we're all sponsors here. And then, so this is where you would put your preambulatory clauses. This is where you're going to put your operative clauses. And remember, so everyone can only write one preambulatory and one operative, but if you have a lot of suggestions, if you have a lot of ideas for things that could be put in there, feel free to go to our bucket of suggestions at the bottom and add your suggestions. And it could be something specific like an entire written out operative clause, or it could be something general like, hey, I noticed we need an operative clause dealing with how the UN is already involved with MUN organizations, for example. Something that maybe hasn't been touched on, but you don't have a concrete idea for. So that could be where there's a lot of communication going on. And also, so just as an example for how we expect some of the communication to go, Lojane, if you wouldn't mind writing a suggestion at the bottom. Oh, I think you're in edit mode. And again, the moderators will help fix the formatting if they need to. Yeah, we're not here to like grade you or anything. We just want to make sure that the resolution is as good as it can possibly be. And at the end of the closing ceremony, we will be adding a live panel to that where we will introduce the final interactive resolution, as well as acknowledge some of the people who are working the hardest on it and adding the most and being the most involved, so we can recognize your hard work and make sure that credit is given, like I said. So Jane has a suggestion: financial assistance to support aspiring Emmy winners in their quest to pursue Emmy wins everywhere. P.S. I wrote in caps on purpose. Good to know, Lujan. Good to know. So, for example, if I was looking for suggestions, say I didn't have a concrete operative, or the operative that I wanted to write was already written, I can come down to the bucket of suggestions and find something else. And I might say, hey, Lujan, I would love to write you an operative about this if you would second my preambulatory clause on
negotiation starts.
Yeah, exactly. On youth empowerment. So that's how communication can go, negotiation can go in here. We just want to make sure that people are communicating, people are interacting with one another, and not just the document. And so the comments might get it's not a might. They will get full. The comments are definitely going to be very hard to read on the right here. So I would suggest focusing your attention on the document itself. So if you want to find so you see that it's highlighted and you want to see what that highlight reads, just click on it and it'll pull up, like I'm showing you here, it'll pull up the comment that is relevant. You click on that, it'll pull that up.
Very good question from the chat here. How many operatives and clauses are they allowed to second? Is it just as many when it comes to seconding?
They may second as many as they like. And the reason for that is there may be different numbers of people active at different times. So it might be necessary if there are like 2 or 3 people at the very end working on things, they might need to trade seconds back and forth. So hopefully all of that makes sense. If anyone else has any other questions, and if not, I can go ahead and post the link.
I made a bit.ly for the link as well, so I can put that in the chat.
Excellent. I will. Oh, and just make sure the permissions are set to suggestions. And not...
Yeah, they are. They are. Okay. Any questions? Okay.
All right, seeing no questions, we will now open the floor for debate. And by floor for debate, I mean the Google Doc for editing, or suggesting rather.
Should be just posted on. Make sure that works. It should be suggesting only. Yep, I think that's the case. Can someone test something? Also, for that matter, what I can do as well, if you'd like, I can put a little QR code at the top. Which I don't know if you want to scroll to, Ryan. Let me just make sure this in front of text.
Having some trouble with that QR code there.
I thought it could go higher up, but it can't. Move with text. Yeah, no, that's not the problem. It's not the problem. You know what? Sort of wrap text. There we are. Here's a QR.
There we go. That works.
All right, I'll put it a little bit lower. There we are. Okay. So I think we're going to end the session, but what you can do is the way AirMeet works is there are a bunch of tables. You are free to go on the tables, chat with other people. And so, Ryan, you're saying this will end by tomorrow midday? You sure
yes.
Time? Okay.
People will have just about 20 hours to make as many edits as they see fit.
Okay. Will this be posted on social media too, you think?
Yes, if the comms team will allow us.
Amazing. Okay, then. Well, without further ado, any final questions maybe from people? No. Okay, then.
I'm not seeing anything. All right, good luck. Have fun.
We'll be around a bit longer, I think. Yeah, we'll be around on the tables.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. This is a good question. Ryan, how can they contact you if they need any questions?
Oh
or
yes.
help?
Okay. If they need any help, I will add my email so that we're not spamming the World MUN Day email. I will add my email, and Lujane also, if you would like to, because Lujane is also going to be moderating, so both of us are available to help.
Or you can also go, to the worldmonday@gmail.com email as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we'll leave it there though, ending almost perfectly at 16:30. It's only 16:28 now. And yeah, we'll put them in the chat too. This chat is going to remain. I think this chat is, for the whole AME session. I don't think it gets deleted after it comes back yet. No, so it'll be there. So no worries. Okay, yeah, that's legit.
I've added a section for contact on the first page.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
In Lujane as well, you're welcome to add your Gmail to that if you feel comfortable doing so.
Mm-hmm. Okay, can't wait to see what comes out. Really excited for this. Thanks very much, Ryan. Thanks very much, Jane. We haven't heard you, but you're there in spirit and chat, and that's always fantastic. Yeah, already I'm so happy with the suggestions we have.
Mm-hmm.
Already see them racking up, which is excellent. Great. Keep on going, guys.
Yeah, like I said, again, like that right-hand comments thing is going to get very full, so just...
It's going to get very full very quickly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Click where you need to on the document to find things and organize yourself.
Indeed. And otherwise, I guess wishing everyone a wonderful evening, afternoon, or morning, depending where you may be. We'll be back tomorrow. So today, to let people know, is of course the official UN day we are trying to establish to be World Model UN Day, coinciding with the very first MUN back in 1943, 2 years before the UN was officially established. Nevertheless, tomorrow will be our full day of panels, it being a Saturday. Hopefully more people can attend. Please, please, please do make sure to attend our live events tomorrow too, with Min Impact and also with Maimon. And Maimon, I mean, they are looking for real suggestions on the actual Maimon, one of the largest MUN websites in the world. So make sure to come to that one to have some real influence and debate on it. Anything else you want to end on, Ryan?
No. I mean, I just want to say that I really appreciate you all coming to the live session today and for participating in both our quiz and our interactive resolution. And I wish all of you the best of luck in your negotiations.
Ciao, ciao, everyone. See you soon.